Welcome back everyone to another market review for E-mini NASDAQ, and today is August 30th, Friday, and we had some high impact news at 8:30, the PCE report, as well as two medium impact newses just before 10 and one actually at 10. So jumping right into this on the daily chart here, the only thing I was looking for in terms of our possible daily levels that were going to be of influence were going to be this new day opening gap right here, if you draw that out on your chart, as you can see here. And really that's it. We also had this new day opening gap going into the day. I was watching to see if this breaker would have done anything. We're still technically respecting. If you guys draw out your 50%, look at how price completely respects that right at that 50. So I was mentioning this, I believe, in 2 or 3 videos ago, that this breaker, and the reason it's a breaker, if anyone doesn't know, low, high, lower low, higher high, and again we stopped right at the 50% of that. And jumping right into the 1 hour here, it wasn't as clean. You know, it is Friday, of course, and we have a bank holiday on Monday, so price action isn't going to be the cleanest. I was actually waiting to see if these highs were going to get taken, this really clean hourly buy side up here, and unfortunately it actually didn't get taken, so I was off on the sidelines watching price. The new day opening gap did its job, like I said. You know, it clearly acted as resistance, and we were running price into a premium practically the whole day. So it was interesting to see how we then traded lower back to that midnight opening price and then right back to the new day opening gap. But again, ideally, like I said, I really wanted to see us take these highs first, and then maybe during that 10, or I would even take the 2 p.m. sell if we were to have taken these really clean highs. And then dropping right down to our 1 minute here, how I would have probably broken this down, like I said before, as you can see, it's just choppy, and then finally here, right at the macro, interestingly, right at the macro, volume kicked in. But if I were to go into this 10 to 11 a.m. session really looking for a setup, obviously the first thing is, where is price drawing towards? And quite obviously, this was what I was watching the entire morning, which was these equal lows right here. So, and you also have these equal lows and even these equal lows, and of course this last sell side liquidity down here. But really my main focus was this main draw liquidity. So I'm going to put here, there were going to be sell stops below this low, below these lows, sorry, because look how clean they are. If you look at these on your chart, look at how really clean these are. And price, what does price do always? It's drawing to that which retail thinks is going to be support or resistance, especially it being liquidity. Let's mark that 10 a.m. opening price, which is right here. And like I said before, the only thing I was looking for this day was to be a seller. Like I said, here's midnight open. You know, at the time of that 10 a.m. session, we were almost a percentage above, so it is quite a bit. And like I said, that's really the only thing I'm looking for in terms of possibly looking for a setup. But as you can see, it was choppy. I did like that we were taking liquidity in the form of buy side, which again, based on my model, my rules, I like to see buy side liquidity get taken before any kind of movement lower. But this choppiness movement downward wasn't as clean. And I covered this in my live stream, and it wasn't as clean. So I hopped off to see if the 2 p.m. session, but it wasn't even worth it as well. But as we can see again, price provides another set of really clean equal lows here. As you can see, really clean, and this is the larger liquidity pool resting below it. We see price, what does it do? All these people are trying to sell before that macro, it stop punts them, right? So if I put this liquidity here, we see, okay, this is the last swing high that made that low. We stop punt everyone there trying to trail their stop, and then we stop punt. We displace lower here. I also didn't like how we completely filled this. Like I said, it is Friday. We also do have a Monday off for Labor Day, so that's also something important to realize. But if I were looking to really try to look for an entry again, 1050, that's your macro right here on this candle. And you also have a what? Inverted fair value gap after a displacement. So we see after price taking liquidity here, it creates a BPR because we have an up close candle here, then a down close candle here, single pass through both of them. And then you draw that out, that's your BPR. And that's also your inverted fair value gap, which is important to understand. We also violate bullish PD arrays and all this price action coming lower. I wasn't convinced by this wick. I wanted to see a little more damage. but this still did the trick. But unfortunately, no fair value gap entries here practically in any of this price action lower. That macro started and we went lower right immediately. It didn't wait for anyone practically. So when it comes to price, from its origin moving in the direction that you want, when you want to see that bearish heavy order flow, you want to see price really leave away these breakaway gaps. So these SIBIs that are unfilled, that's what you want to see. You want to see price leave that because it's showing you signs that price is willing to keep seeking lower prices. And like, again, we've created practically almost, I would have to count, we have 1, 2, 3, you have 3 breakaway gaps in this whole thing. And really there was no way of entry in any of this price action. As expected, it's like I said, it is Friday, so, and this was also not very clean, but everything was there. You had the breakaway, you had 3 breakaway gaps and this obvious liquidity pool that price is trying to buy at. And also another thing here I forgot to mention is you also have this trend line here. Retail loves buying trend lines. All this right here, retail's trying to buy that trend line. And then what does price do? Takes it, fakes people trying to buy it again, and then stop hunts them. So again, not the super cleanest price action today. It is Friday, and we sort of also chopped around this 10 a.m. opening price. Because if you draw it on, you see we chop. And also, if you take the entire consolidation, you can see from here, let me actually activate the background so you guys can see. Like, we're just consolidating here practically. It's just this large chop till finally we get away. But to any of you who took this trade right here, I mean, congrats to you. It was really, a lot of volume behind it. And this, like I said, this draw was very obvious from the beginning. It's just price wasn't really too kind in the early part of the session from that 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. ICT silver bullet, but it did give it. And then looking at DXY here, if you go over to DXY, see what it was giving. On the daily chart, like I said, I'm still looking for these equal lows to be taken soon, but it'll probably be a long-term target. On a short-term target here, we just took some buy side here. This right here, this SIBI, we just filled it now, consequent encroachment of that. I'm actually going to use the fib tool. We use that fib tool, draw it out, look at price respect at 50% of it. And we also have this new day opening gap here. But in particular to where price was at in current price action, I was saying that in the live stream that price was in this 1 hour busy. So that was the biggest thing that I was looking for in price action throughout the entire day. Here's 10 a.m. there. We also accumulated below midnight open for practically the entire morning session until 8 a.m. hit and news got released. And then what do we always say? Price, especially retail, they're going to be selling what? These clean highs right up here. And what is smart money going to do? They're going to buy that up. So I'm going to mark this as some hourly buy side. It's too clean. And then you also have these clean highs as well. So in addition to this larger liquidity pool, you have this minor one. And we see price, it takes liquidity first, stop hunts everyone here, and we displace higher, tagging out practically everybody that was trying to sell here and digging into the 50% of the SIBI on the daily chart that we framed out. But overall, it was an okay Friday. Like I said, there's better price action out there. This wasn't the cleanest price action we've seen throughout the day. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this breakdown. It wasn't the cleanest price action today, of course, it being Friday and we have that bank holiday Monday. But I hope this video was at least insightful to you guys in some way. And I also dropped my POV video and a breakdown of previous day's price action during that 2 p.m. silver bullet. So I hope you guys, check that out. It'll be in the description below. Comment down below if you guys have any questions, and I appreciate your time. Thanks for watching. Peace.